Well, welcome back. Hey, I'm Kirk Carver. I'm a new member of the Executive Committee and a new member of the Training Committee, and I'm going to be walking you through how to create a program summary for a draft statement, interim visit, and interim report. And you probably don't realize that. You go, program summary, piece of cake. Actually, it's the number 2 box that team chairs get into trouble with. Number 1 being the actual findings, but number 2 being this particular box. And the reason why is it just has a lot of complexity associated with it, but it's okay. Relax. I'm going to walk you through it. And so the first thing that you want to do is as you're entering in what I call the easy part, which is really the summary information about the program, you don't want to copy it from a previous final statement, or you don't want to copy it from the institutional website. You want to use your own words, and that's because editor 2s have no life, and they'll go back and check it, and then they'll kick it back. Next, if you're doing a CAC interim report, it's really easy. The text in black you see here, the program introduction, is not applicable for a CAC interim report. You're done. Put that in, move on, and smile or commiserate with those of us that are going to have to go through because we're doing it for a draft statement or an interim visit. And in that case, it's a tad bit more complex. Now, I'm going to break this into 2 parts. The first part, which you'll see in subsequent slides in black, is called the easy part. And that's just the description of the program. Then what you've got to do is work in the shortcomings from the previous review and the current review, and that's where all this complexity comes into this. Now, as you're preparing for this, these are the setup that you're going to see in your team chair workbook. You can see the folders over on the left, some document prefixes in the middle, and then document names over on the right. When you look at this, the C200 GI is going to be the one that you're going to use for your normal reviews or your initial reviews. The C200I is going to be the document you're going to use for interim reports and visit. And you're always going to use the C311, which is the style guide associated with this. Now, I've highlighted them in green. If you can't see it, it's the text that I changed to bold. If you can see both of it, then you can see both of it and be cool. All right, so let's get into it. What I've got, and I pulled this from C200 GI, is you see the text associated with just the basic information that you want about the program, and you see on the right how it would be formatted. In this case, I've broken it down into 3 separate paragraphs that kind of cover the 3 major components associated with this program. Now again, this is the easy part, and on subsequent slides you're going to see this in black, and we're going to augment or supplement this easy part with the harder part. As we're doing that, there are kind of 4 scenarios that exist. The easy scenario is when there's no previous shortcomings and no current shortcomings. In that case, you'll just see the text I'll give you to plug in. And you can get this, of course, by going to C200 GI or C200I and pulling the text out of there. You can just pay attention to the PowerPoint in this training video. So that's relatively straightforward. What is also relatively straightforward is when you're pulling in previous shortcomings, but you don't have to write new ones. All you've got to do is master the art of copy and paste, and it's harder than it sounds because the shortcomings are listed in multiple places in the previous final statement. You want to pull the last one, the summary, the thing at the very end of the document. That's what you want to pull, not the first thing you find in the document. Now, the third case is where you've got no previous shortcomings, but you do have current shortcomings. And why this is getting worse is you just got to write the current shortcomings, but the program box is really not that bad. And then sometimes you're going to have to copy and paste in the previous and write new current shortcomings, and this is going to be the most difficult situation. But it's okay. I got you. We're going to get through this together. All right, so let's look at the first case. And in the first case, what you're seeing is there are no shortcomings from the previous visit. There are no shortcomings from the current visit. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by taking the easy part, the description that you saw just a couple of slides ago, and we're going to put it in there, and that's the black. And that's going to be in every single one of these. and you've got to write that. And then you're going to augment that with the text that is in yellow. And it's a straight copy paste. And you can copy paste it out of this PowerPoint. You can copy paste it out of C200 GI or C200I, or you can retype it while you've got this movie running on a different screen. It doesn't matter. It'll get you through there. And as you can see, there's one part in blue, and that one part in blue you would change to represent whichever program you're doing. So I'm using the example of information technology, but it could be computer science, could be cybersecurity, it could be IS. You just change that out. And again, we have just addressed the easiest setup. You've got the basic foundation, if you will, in black, and then the new part in yellow that we're adding that's coming out of C200 to capture the nuance of this situation. All right, so let's get a little bit more complex. In this case, there are shortcomings from the previous visit, and there are no shortcomings from the current visit. Okay, so a little bit more complex. This is your copy and paste. The part in black is what was in black on the previous slide, and what was it, that foundational part. The part in yellow is what you're going to add. You're going to add, status of shortcomings from previous visit, and then you're going to follow this text. I've given an example here of where you would list it for a program weakness, but you're going to list whatever they had. They may have deficiencies or weaknesses or concerns associated. You would assume it's not a deficiency, but maybe it is that you're doing in this particular visit. And then you're going to add the blue text that says, "Hey, we didn't find anything this time around. They're awesome." And again, the dark blue text where it says information technology, you would change to reflect your own program. So again, not bad. But again, you're juggling a couple of different components here. The base part, the easy part, the new language that we're going to use to showcase that there are shortcomings from a previous visit, and then the blue text that shows we didn't find anything on this visit. Still not too bad. All right, so let's move to a different scenario. Scenario 3 now of the possible ways this can be done. The black part is still exactly the same. You're going to now add a phrase. In this particular case, there are no shortcomings from the previous visit, but there are shortcomings from the current visit. So again, pretty straightforward. You don't have to copy and paste anything, but you're going to put in the base easy text, and then you're going to add that one line that comes out of C200 GI or C200I that highlights, hey, we didn't find anything in this. And then finally, the worst possible scenario is you're going to have findings from the previous visit and findings from the current visit. So the black part is there, the yellow part is there, and then in a different box, the shortcoming box, you're going to have to find, list out the current shortcoming, be it a deficiency, weakness, or concern. And that's covered in a different video. But again, it's more complex because you've got to do original work, plus you have to master copying and pasting in everything from the summary text, the last part of the document. All right, so that brings us to the end. Remember, as you're building that foundational piece, I keep referring to it as the easy piece, editor twos have no life, and they will go back and check if you copied this out of the last final statement or you copied it out of the institutional website. You should use your own words as you're doing that. The program summaries are going to be different between an interim report where you're just entering in that magic phrase and you're done, and a draft statement or a interim visit, which is much more complex. And as I've talked about, there are 4 different scenarios, and you're going to have to kind of walk through those and make sure you do it correctly. If you are pulling previous shortcomings, it's a simple copy-paste, but copy-paste from the right part of the document. You want to go all the way to the end of the final statement and use the summary statements, okay? Don't get the initial listing up front before they've been adjudicated. All right, and remember, editor twos have no life. They will go back and check that. Okay, so good luck. Again, this is the second most difficult box. Do pay attention to it, but hopefully this video has helped prepare you for creating a program summary for a draft statement, interim visit, or interim report. See you in the next video.